All hail Lambhead, protector of the realm. All hail Lambhead. Limit! 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 All hail Lambhead. Bam! 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 All hail Lambhead. Limit! 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 All hail Lambhead. 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 All hail Lambhead.
Hey Biggs, it's Jason. Sorry to leave a voicemail. I thought we had a really strong connection last night, but honestly, when I went to the bathroom, I overflowed the thing. I made a big mess. I was so embarrassed. I just ran out. Think we could hang out still, though?
Oh, Dedra, I think I love you. No one's got a resting bitch face quite like you. There's no one in outer space quite like you. Want some milk with my cereal. Want you to be my girl. Oh, my Dedra. Oh, my Dedra. Save it from a riot. If it's kinky, we should try it. Don't be a schoolmarm. Try some silicone. Part of a complete breakfast. My milky fascist. No one's got a resting bitch face quite like you. Take you back to my mom's place, 'cause I like you. Want some milk in my cereal. Want you to be my girl. Oh, my Dedra. Oh, my Dedra. It's my treasure to pleasure my Dedra.
Bedra, Bedra, my Dedra.
Think she just smelled her fart. She just stole my heart. Can't help the heart low. I can never let her go. 'Cause she's my Dedra. Oh, my Dedra.
It's repeat listenings that cause the most damage.
With MakingStarWars.net.
Hello, I'm Uncle Harlow, and you're watching Making Star Wars show on the internet.com. And I got Rob as always, and we got a Nick from the Bob podcast, which is a podcast that celebrates all people named Bob across the
it's
years.
definitely not the Pompadorks podcast, which I looked up, but
No, it's not. It's not a Bob's Big Boy podcast either, which is how I originally found them. But yeah, so
I try.
All right. All right.
You guys all right?
This week is Willow week. So Willow will be coming out on the 30th. So that's upon us. And I watched the first episode again last night. Then I made a video of it that I can't put out yet, but that will come out when the show hits. And yeah, so it was a good time. I actually had fun watching it last night. So watching the first episode, that is. And so that will be out when the series comes. So the minute I can put it out, I'm going to put that out. I don't know when the embargo lifts exactly, but that's the minute it'll come out. So, and yeah, tonight also they are showing Willow in the theaters in the US. So if you've never seen Willow in the theater and you're bored, You can watch it on Disney Plus for free or with your account right now, but you could also go and catch it in the theater if you've always wanted to and never got to. And one more thing, Star Wars Squadrons is free on the Epic Game Store. So if you have VR, you've never played it and you want to try it, just log into the Epic Game Store and put it in your account. It should be $0. Buy it for $0, and then you'll have that game. And pretty fun to fly an X-Wing in VR. The game is okay, but flying the X-Wing in VR, if you've never done it and you have VR, is good. And if you plan to get VR, you might want to get it just to have it in reserve as a tech demo for yourself, what that's like. But and then what else is going on? Okay, so our buddy Bespin Bulletin, he watched the Iger thing today for us. Bob Iger talking about Disney. They had a sort of like a surprise earnings call kind of situation of some kind. And there was like a lot of rumors going around. The big rumor that was going around was that Chapek cooked the books. That's what everybody was saying. He cooked the books. And I guess that's not true, or they're not owning up to it if it was true. Probably not true necessarily, but who knows. But the bullet points from Iger's town hall were that he stands by Chapek's hiring freeze for the time being. So they won't be hiring anybody. They're gonna slow down on that, which makes sense. When you're not in a moment of rapid growth, you don't really need to be hiring people usually. And then he walked back Chapek, saying that they don't want to be political, and said they want to include LGBTQ plus actors and characters in their stories. So when Chapek went full, I live in Florida. God damn it! I'm gonna live like I'm in Florida. When he went pure Floridian, he's like, no, we're not Floridians exactly. And so that's mostly good news, other than the fact that it had to happen at all. And then he hasn't made a decision on the park's reservation system, and will be speaking with Josh D'Amaro about it. And for the record, Josh D'Amaro was, if that's how you say his last name, I hope I'm not butchering it, was the guy who was rumored to be getting the axe, but clearly didn't get the axe, or he would already, I think they already did like the house cleaning stuff. So it was like the Chapek loyalist apparently who got the axe, and he's still there. So that is what it is. And then he hasn't made a decision on moving the Imagineers to Lake Nona. I don't even know what the fuck that means, you guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what that means, but Lake Nona, I say put them all there.
It's such a Filoni name, you know.
What's that, Rob?
Lake Nona, such a Filoni like place, you know. Like,
yeah. Nice Nona, nice knowing ya. Sending you to Nona. Yeah,
I like to Mona at Lake Nona. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's get together, do little smiles.
Filoni believes that Nona, or that Mona was the boss, right? On his boss.
She was my first gilf. All right,
Yeah.
that's enough. It's too much, dude.
I can't lie. It was a little weird being like 7 years old and into how horny Mona was. You know, I'm like, man, she's really horny though. She's kind of like
the
down
thing
for
in the
anything.
80s, right? What's her face on Golden Girls? Was promiscuous. Yeah.
Do you think they ever scissored? I think they did.
Do you think Dave scissored?
Dave?
Yeah.
Oh, Dave is scissored for sure.
Yes.
But I meant Mona and what, I don't know. What is her name? That's not Blanche. Is that Blanche? I can't remember all the Golden Girls names right now. But oh yeah, and then this was like the other thing that was really going around. No plans to be acquired. And then he dismissed the Apple merger as speculation. There was a lot of industry rumors that Apple was going to try and buy Disney, and that they had the cash to do it, which was like, I didn't think it was going to happen, but I was like, well, that could happen. That is always possible. And I'm glad it's not, because that's actually like one of my little fears about Star Wars being corporately owned, is Disney could be bought someday. And we've always kind of looked at Disney as being in the position of the acquirer, not the acquired. And as long as they are acquiring and things are fine, we know that Star Wars is sort of protected. But it would just be terrible if we ended up with like, you know, some company owning Star Wars animation and all of that.
Disney's
You know,
the
like
pitcher, not the
Terminator.
catcher, right?
Yeah, usually, yeah.
That's right.
That's what we want. We don't want that
Yeah.
to a change.
Yeah.
So, all right. So while we're you know, I don't know if Bestman realizes it, but he's kind of like a producer on the show. He like takes notes and like it's like, hey, I got this article out for you to use and stuff, which I really appreciate. He's a good dude.
He's all right. I wouldn't give him that much praise.
I mean, he's except for when he, you know, tries to say like Bix is his girlfriend and she's not your girlfriend. That's not true. Stop saying that. Andor creator shares various tidbits regarding season 2, including deaths, time jumps, Rogue One characters, the Death Star, and more. Now, there's even more than this. I didn't actually get to read this one yet, but I was like, hey, I know that if Bestman pulls it, it'll be good. So you could buy him a coffee. I did. I bought him a coffee. Told him here's some walk around money, and you can do that too, unless you hate his guts. If you hate his guts, that's fine. But he writes good articles, so I think you should if you read his site. So he says, we'll begin with snippets from Gilroy's chat with Deadline, where the creator shares how the time jumps throughout the second season will work. As we've known for quite some time, season 2 will take place over the course of 4 years. So 4 more years. Starting an entire year after the season 1 finale and wrapping up on the doorstep of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. Gilroy told Deadline the following. When we come back for our second half, it'll be a year later. An entire year will have gone on. All kinds of things will have happened, and we'll pick up the show. Sometimes we'll do a week, we'll do 3 days, we'll do 4 days, whatever. And then we'll drop a year in between. The last one will be the last. I don't know what it is, 3-4 days before the beginning of Rogue One. And then our final scene has always been known, which will be walking him into the first scene of Rogue One. So we will be dealing with time in a different way, but it'll be blocks of 3. That'll be our principle. So that's not exactly anything totally new. What Gilroy's saying here, but at the same time, good to have it reiterated. Filming has started now. So therefore, him saying this means this is what is happening. This is not likely to like change. And it sounds like the timeline is highly flexible about what those days are. I think it's like just an estimation on like how many days have gone by. We were talking yesterday and we're like, you know, when Mon Mothma leaves the Senate, that's like 2 years before Rogue One. So that probably puts that as somewhere in the middle of this series. And in my estimation, I'm not sure, or my prediction is we don't get the Rebel scene recreated. What we get is the decision for the Rebel scene. The actions that lead to the decision of what she's about to do, I think will likely, but what will be what we get. And we won't see her go into the Senate and give her spiel. Though it'll be like what she does. For instance, like an example would be going down to the Coruscant ATM and taking out $20 million and being like, here, Luthen, meaning like, I've just effectively, I can't put this on Perrin. I can't say Perrin went had a fucking crazy weekend Canto bite with that. Like it's too much. So I that's my prediction. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So far, there hasn't really been any rumors. And I gotta say, before this, I thought Cassian, he might put the moves on Mothma, because so far that guy is he's every girl on the show pretty much. He's like been like, hey, what's going on, right? And except for Dedra, because she smelled a fart and he doesn't want that. He hasn't met her yet. But
give it time.
Yeah, give it time. But then I thought about it and I was like, you know what? By the time Mothma gets to Gavin, she's got that mom bowl cut. It's really weird. When she was a mom, she was fucking smoking hot. Fucking had her hair all done up, going to parties and shit. And then she gets rid of the fucking kid and gets the mom cut. She's doing it completely fucking backwards. But that's the world we live in. That's the world of rebellion. All right, back to bestspinbulletin.com's article. We've known for months that each block of 3 episodes will represent a new year in the season, but it's interesting to hear that each block will only consist of a number of days rather than spanning weeks or months. When pressed for more details on the second season by the outlet and just how the season will handle the many moving parts in the run-up to Rogue One, Gilroy said, "We will be dealing with, by the time you get to Rogue One, you have the Rebel Alliance, which is a whole bunch of different disparate factions and people that have arrived at Yavin and have coalesced into what will become an organized rebellion. Well, we have 4 years to examine how difficult it is to put a revolution together, how difficult it is to become a leader, how difficult it is to be a victim. But what happens to the original gangsters? What happens to the outliers? What happens to the people who were? Every revolution consumes people and glorifies people, and not always the people that did the thing that mattered. How do you scale up something that essentially does not thrive in sunshine? Or how do you do that? And those issues and all the chaos that is going on to be of great interest to us going forward. So let's break this down a little bit. So we have Yavin coalescing into an organized rebellion. So all those people we saw in Rogue One around the table who can't agree to do jack shit. So they're going to be a bunch of complicated people. Then we have 4 years to examine how difficult it is to put a revolution together. So we got Luthen out there, right? He's out there just being a little shit starter. And then we also have
out there framing two tubes all the time. It's like a fucking hobby, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I knew it was tubes. Like, no, man, it's fucking that Luthen fucking with me. Sort of fucking Christ, man. If you didn't have a lightsaber built into a stupid spaceship.
Yeah, well, I mean, so how difficult it is to become a leader, and then how difficult it is to be a victim. Do you think this might be Bix? Because when we leave Bix, she's not right, and it's like, how long, or does Bix ever go back to being the woman at the start of the show, or you know what I mean? Does she go Ripley? Does she become like Kill Bill after being tortured, or does she become meek and
simple Jack?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple of different ways it can be taken. One, she returns back to normal. She becomes militant and sort of aggressive, or she becomes meek. Those are the 3 likely outcomes, and the end of the show doesn't really give us very much other than the fact that she has hope Cassian will come for her. She believes he will. So there is hope there, I guess. But
Perrin's the real victim in all of this.
Oh, poor Perrin. He's like, I stopped gambling. He's like, I went to the meetings and everything.
Look,
poor guy.
All I did was fuck a Yuzum just once, and she'll never let you forget about it. It's bullshit. Yeah.
Meg says Cassian will come for her and on her too. Damn it, Meg. But what happens to the original gangsters? Now, this is the part that is obviously, this includes Luthen and I'd say Saw Gerrera. And there's a line in Rogue One when you watch it where they are sending Cassian and the gang to go talk to Saw. And I don't remember, I can't quote it verbatim, but the line implies they did fuck him over. The line from Mon Mothma is like, there's a bit of, I don't know, a tinge of guilt to it that things did not go fair for him. So I'm guessing that Saw Gerrera is going to be used in the season, and after he's used, that's when his paranoia truly like sets in, they
Through
may
the
be
roof.
responsible. What was that?
It's gonna go through the roof.
Through the roof. Yeah.
Like, through the roof, son.
But and then what happens to the outliers? Like Two Tubes? He's just like, hey man, I'm here with this crazy guy. What happens to the people who were every revolution consumes people and glorifies people? And yeah, so the consumed people, I just keep going to Saw Gerrera is the one who I just keep thinking of on that. But so I'm curious if I'm just gravitating towards that, or if Saw will have more to do this season, because he kind of didn't need to be. If you were to revise the whole thing in hindsight, knowing that you're only going to do 2 seasons, I'm not sure we would have had Saw in season 1. Like he kind of like, it seems like they felt like they had a lot of time to deal with him. And if the show was going to be 5 seasons, by the time filming started, they thought they were going to probably do 3. So, and then they ended up just with 2. So
it's one of Pevy's big nitpicks about the show. He goes, he goes, I have no idea why Saul's in it. He can't understand them scenes whatsoever.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. Just cut it all out.
Exactly.
That's
yeah,
right.
just exactly.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
that shit. Only keep
No.
what's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Trim this
Trim
shit.
the fat.
Fuck
Trim
all.
the fat.
Yeah,
down.
it's too much stuff.
my
Yeah,
time
fuck
is
'em.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Pevy.
right. Yeah, I got like 28,000 episodes of Rings of Power to get through. 876 episodes of One Piece to get caught up. And then they fucking need Saul in there, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
When
Pevy,
I listen to the
flipping
Bob
idiot.
podcast, I love Pevy. I love his
Oh,
opinions.
yeah.
I love his takes, except for when he says that Indiana Jones shit about National Treasure. That right there,
Oh.
unsubscribed. but then I resubscribe after I cool down a little bit. After I cool down just a little baby bit.
He's a little rat. Don't worry about him.
A little rascal. So anyways, what happens to the people in we kind of went over the whole. Okay, so Bespin goes on to write, since the start of the series, Gilroy has been teasing that we'd see many deaths, but not many of our main cast met their maker in the first season. We had Marva Andor, whose passing sparked a rebellion on Ferrix, some minor supporting cast members such as Zal, Ulaf, Salman, and Nurchi, as well as many extras on Ferrix during the finale. But with season 2 looming, the question was put to Gilroy by Collider if any characters from season 1 would die between seasons. Such a weird question, but I guess it's, I suppose if somebody wasn't
Don't
going
kink
this,
shame Frosty. Bro.
yeah, this is like a way of getting at maybe if anybody just wasn't returning as an actor. And if they made it to season 2, how long will they last? To which Gilroy stated the following: if they live, and I'm not going to promise how long they live when they get to the other side, but they all know that. But no, if they lived in the show, they're alive. So nobody's going to die off camera. We won't get to next season. Oh no, Brasso had a heart attack. He's not with us anymore. Oops. So yeah, I would actually, I want to ask your guys' opinion on this. Me and Bestman were playing the Fortnite. We were having a conversation, right? And I'm like, Gilroy kind of embodies that Gen X kind of attitude about subversion, I think. And Star Wars fans don't do too well with it usually. Like, a lot of them are mad at Rian Johnson, thinking that like what he was all about because of a quote or something. But where I'm going with this is, so at the end of the show, you have Brasso, you got Bix, you got B2, a couple of others on that ship, and they're flying out, right?
Yeah.
Like to your average Star Wars fan who just watches the cartoons or has been fed on those cartoons, they're like, that's a new cast of a new television show. That's a new cartoon called Bix's Place, something like that, right? But I almost feel like in putting that together, I almost feel like he put that together to take a baseball bat to it, like that one guy in Walking Dead. Like I think he's gonna beat the shit out of it. I don't think he's gonna put them on there and make it all a big happy family. I think he's gonna make it terrible. I think he's going to do the exact opposite of Han, Luke, Leia, or the Ghost Crew. I don't think it's going to be swell. I don't know. You have an opinion on that of what I just said, or is it just too abstract to fucking matter?
No, that's what I figured. That's what I figured. I don't know. Like I don't know what people. I mean, it's hard. With I never like to convince people to like something, but like when we're watching people, when you watch the series, and people are like, Andor's just not interesting to me. Just doesn't have a journey. I'm like, he literally has Luke and Han Solo's like, what would you call those? Like inciting like moments that they have in those series, and he does the wrong thing each time. He does the opposite thing of what those guys do, and he ends up right back in the same position. So like, when his mom and dad, when he could like stay there and I don't know, fight, save Ferric. He doesn't do that. You know what I mean? When he's like, I gotta find my long lost twin sister, and he gives that one up, and like he's like, hey, I got my fucking money. You know what I mean? I'm not going back for my friends. I'm gonna go live out on space Ibiza. You bizwax. Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I figure like when there's like a group of people on a ship, you're like, oh, this is the crew that'll get together. I mean, I'm don't ever Aliens 3 it. Don't just be like they all died in the ship,
Yeah.
Don't do that. But like if you don't, I just don't see happy endings for any of them except for BMO. BMO gets away. Gets away.
I gotta say, if he gets away, that's a worse fate for him because he's going to be so fucking depressed.
No,
what do you think, Nick?
Poor guy. Don't do that to him. No, yeah, those people that were left on the ship. Maybe the daughter of Ferric's woman, she might play a little bit of a role. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe in his, maybe going back to. Is it a rumor they may be going back to Ferric's once or something like that? So I don't know.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's got absolutely nothing. No, if they starts the show and you never see those characters again, apart from his boy. What's his name?
Brasso?
Yeah. I think they might keep him around.
Yeah.
And Bix, obviously.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, what could their fate really be? I mean, they could just join the rebellion, and they could be those people that we see in the background carrying hoses in Empire Strikes Back, essentially. And but then I would have to think that they would have to have some kind of outcome and stuff like that.
I like the kid. I think the kid should have something to do, obviously, because he's seen his dad being hung and he built the bomb. So I like the idea of keeping him around and him maybe being a little Andor understudy, something like that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's so many ways that they could take those characters, and I'm just curious as to how much time they have and how much they like pick them up, because having limited time makes me think that they may pick those characters up in a big way rather than spending new time introducing new people. And the introduction of characters in the series has been very slow, not in a bad way. It's been like meticulous. And so I don't know if the show has enough time to go and start throwing a lot of new cast members in. Whereas if they pick up with these established people, they don't have to go as deep as they did before, because they've already done it. So that's kind of my guess. But yeah, Kino lives and Kino's dead. That whole thing is I don't know. I think it's like, I personally think it's undecided, and that's why he's like, Kino's alive just because he wants to be positive about something. But everybody who tells Cassian to like climb, it doesn't end up too well for them usually, right? I mean, or anybody, and that's involved in that conversation. But then at the same time, I don't know. I feel like he should be dead, and then this is when Gilroy gets all fucking positive about it because he likes the actor. But so in Bespin's opinion, in his opinion, The only additional tidbit of interest from Collider and Gilroy's chat regarding the second season is a prop being developed, which has got Gilroy very excited and will play a pretty big role in the second season. Gilroy didn't share many details on the complicated yet amazing prop, but whatever it is has Gilroy very enthused. So we have a big props meeting, and my brother John is there, and he's hearing it now. So I said, man, come up to this thing, because he loves all this shit too. So we went up to this props house on the lot, and they showed us all this stuff, and they finished by showing us this thing that will play a big part. It's a big prop. It will be in season 2. It has a big utility, and it's really complicated. And this guy has built it. Johnny and I were just standing there, and Ariel Kleinman standing there, and we're standing there and watching this guy explain this freaking thing that they built. It's so elaborate and so insane and so beautiful and so far beyond what we thought of. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, yeah, I can confirm it's General Grievous's dick. Yeah.
Gilroy's gonna take that that advice.
Yeah, well, I had an outline of things that happened in the trilogy that I couldn't fit in because of. I mean, let's be honest.
Do you think it's a really big brick?
Is it big? Oh, it's ginormous. Yeah.
You know what would be cool is if Brasso's new name was Big Brick Brasso. That's what they started calling him after Ferrex. Big Brick Brasso.
Yeah. Big Brick likes big Grievous dicks. All right. Well, it's fascinating, folks. I'm gonna get back to crying about Twitter. Bye.
All right. Bye, George. So, fucking Bespin wrote, sounds to me like they're rebuilding General Grievous. Let's just hope they don't use any screws.
Told you.
Oh,
hey, look.
man.
Why would George lie? Why would he lie?
Bespin went there. Lastly, we turn our attention to an interview between Gilroy and Slash Film. During the chat, Gilroy once again remained vague on if we'll see the return of the fan favorite character Kino Loy, played by Andy Serkis, to which once again the series creator reiterated, we didn't see him die, which led the conversation down the path of if there'll be another surprise appearance from prominent actors or characters from Rogue One in Andor's second season, to which Gilroy responded to the following. Yeah, I would say yes. We'll start shooting on Monday, and this second half will be walking us. I said it before, our final scene will be walking you into the first scene of Rogue One. As we get there, you'll have some things we have to do and some people we have to meet. Yeah. So then then Bespin implies Krennic. And I was thinking Bell. You guys think, one of the quotes that he says at one point, though, is that it won't be about the construction of the Death Star. And that makes me think Krennic ain't fucking showing up, because that's his problem. That's Krennic's issue. Is constructed. He's a construction guy. He's trying to get a construction job done. So I don't know, guys. What do you think, Nick? Do you think we're going to see, if the construction of the Death Star is not the focus of the season, do we get Krennic?
Maybe with Galen. So I don't know, just doing them stuffs on the outskirts. I mean, why not get any excuse to get Mad Mikkelsen in and that lot back in and make it better, wouldn't it? So towards me.
Yeah, but that fool doesn't. That he doesn't like excuses to do things. Is my whole thing. That's why I'm like, Also, excellent background. Excellent. I'm a little slow when I'm like reading notes. I'm like, oh, that is pretty funny.
It's really lagging me though. I'll take it off.
Wait.
I had someone on my stream complain to me about the Ferrex hats. Their hats are stupid. And I'm looking at the Imperial hats. I'm like, they're the same fucking hat. This one has a glossy brim and the other one's a cloth brim. They're both, Imperial hats are just as fucking dumb. Star Wars is filled with dumb fucking hats. Like that. Show me one cool hat. Even when you got your Cad Bane hat in live action, people bitched. So Star Wars fans hate fucking hats. They just hate them.
Pevi has written and said, I felt a great disturbance in the Force, one that suggested the tables had turned, that Nicholas had decided to, in fact, throw me under the bus.
No.
Uh-oh. Podcast drama. This is our segment of podcast drama. But yeah, hey Azatru, how's it going, dude?
We should,
old Mr. Azatru is here.
Should do a podcast like once a year, call it Podcrastination. You know?
Podcasting.
Yeah, you know, just we get this out whenever, you know. We meant to put one out. It's mostly that. It's just apologies, and then that's the end of the episode.
we should also have Azatru on pretty soon. We haven't seen Azatru in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Peppy says beef. No, it's spelled.
No, he's talking about Ibiza.
Brick. It's brick.
Beefer. That's what he's talking about. Ibiza.
Hey Max, how's it going? How are you, lady? All right. Back to the article. It's unsurprising and expected that we'll see more characters from Rogue One appear in Andor's second season with General Draven, which I do hope we see Draven because I like that character. I like that guy. Bail Organa and Tivik. Also, by the way, yeah, and we were talking about that yesterday. I was like me and Bestman were having a conversation, and we're like, you know, like he doesn't like Star Wars, and then like as we're having that point, kind of comes into my old brain, and I think, you know what, he doesn't like Star Wars necessarily, but he likes his own shit. Like he knew Tivik's name, and like I forget that guy's name. Like I love Star Wars, I can't stop talking about it and thinking about it all the time, and then but he's like, oh yeah, Tivik. And it's like, so he loves his own Star Wars. And that's what makes me think that he'll be back. That's what makes me think he'll take a break, but something will bring him back in. Because he's also been saying that he loves the accolades he's getting. Like all of the work he's ever done, no one's ever really praised him as being brilliant and amazing. And right now he's getting that big time. So the question is, does Gilroy go full Gen Xer, burn out on that whole thing? Be like, I don't need this, and then recoil and do indie films for the rest of his life and we never see him again? Or does he get addicted to the fame and the attention, you know, to the praise, and
just 3 more seasons?
3 more seasons. Yeah, I mean, other shows. There were rumors that I was hearing about Saw Gerrera having a television show and stuff like that, but I am kind of like, maybe it's just because he was in this. You know what I mean?
The ultimate troll would be how like this episode takes place over like 6 or 8 months. Season 2 is like 5 years, and then season 3 is like a day. Just stretched out across 12 episodes, you know.
Well, in the very last episode, he clones himself in case he dies, and his new clone is named Donnie Andor. And then we're gonna go on and have Donnie Andor, a Star Wars story, a whole film series. So I read that on We Got This Covered, so it must be true. Additionally, I've seen various fans are hoping to get a glimpse of director Krennic, Galen Erso, Bodhi Rook, and Tarkin in season 2. Though Gilroy remains tight-lipped on who exactly will appear in season 2, he does mention Krennic by name during his chats with Slashfilm, telling the outlet that the Death Star is a very secret project and only Krennic and a few ISB officers know of its existence, and that Cassian will follow the breadcrumbs of the secret project in season 2, which will ultimately leave us at Rogue One's door. The quote goes on to say, by the end, the first scene of Rogue One, it's him going off to the rings of Caffrine to try to chase down the rumor about this thing. What does Tivik say to him, man? There's a weapon. They're building a weapon. What kind of weapon? A planet killer. All roads lead to that scene. Now, that's not entirely what our show is going to be about. So remember this quote. This is the part that this is where fans will lose the thread. That's not entirely what our show is going to be about. People don't know the existence of it, do they? Some people do. Krennic does. The people in the ISB, very few of them might. But all roads are ultimately leading to Rogue One. Wait, what is this? What is this picture of, Bespin? I didn't see the series yet. You just spoiled it. What the fuck, man? So be sure to check out.
CG. It's too CG, Jason. They should have used a physical fed Death Star.
Yeah,
shot that in space.
I will actually say it did look a little bit more Return of the Jedi-y in terms of the look than Rogue One the movie. But that's
Yeah.
just the budget, I think. Be
Yeah,
sure to
cheap
check out.
bastards. We all know how cheap Jedi was.
Well, it's because fucking Tony Gilroy is fucking pocketing the money, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. He's
Be-
he's gonna go be partying with Rob Zombie at the Fire Festival next year.
at Fire Festival. Okay. Let's change gears just a little bit. I do have a lot of I still have a bunch of Gilroy articles, but I'm a bit tired of talking about Gilroy for the moment.
Gilly.
Yeah, so there was this article that came out. Now, by the way, old Empire magazine decided to put their last and final Indiana Jones content behind like, you know, a subscriber style thing, paywall kind of situation. So we're not going to be using it, you know, at the end of the day. But this is going around. No, I don't want your shit, Digital Spy. This article came out, and I think it's this is kind of taking it off. I'm seeing this one right here being shared everywhere. Now, this article is just sourcing the Empire article, and it makes a couple of. It has some stuff from the Empire article that is actually interesting and worth just bringing up, but also it makes some logic, some jumps in logic, and that I think is worth clarifying a bit on. Because it could be a little annoying. The images show Helena, and she's wait, where did I skip it? Did I skip it like a dummy? Yeah, here it is. Alongside Harrison Ford, back as the titular Archaeostar. What the fuck is that? Is that even a word?
That sounds nice.
That's not an Archaeostar. It's not even a thing. Are they just making up like a star archaeologist? Whatever, man. I've been in anthropology. I never heard this word, but maybe I'm dumb.
All I gotta say is that should be the first name, the name of the first fan dumb album, Titular Archaeostar.
Titular Archaeostar.
Yeah. I like it.
It's definitely not a word.
Yeah, they just made that shit up. 15 years after the almost unanimously panned Crystal Skull, which actually was not true when it came out, and was very successful actually, but whatever. Indiana Jones 5 stars. Now here's this is the part. Indiana Jones 5 also stars Fleabag's Phoebe Waller-Bridge as Helena Brody, Indy's goddaughter. Helena Brody is likely. It's likely she is Helena Brody, but that's not confirmed. That is speculation on their part. That is an assumption on their part. So right now, I believe that's probably true. As the first rumor that hit about her being the goddaughter said that she was Marcus Brody's daughter.
Jason.
Yeah.
Someone said assumption.
Yeah.
You know, I can assume Indy goes back in time. I heard he goes back and Me Too's Marion Ravenwood. That's what I heard. The whole movie.
Oh shit! Really?
What? It's not. Well, you gotta deal with it. It's canon.
Yeah.
It happened. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and then they go over the newly released pictures, and they really have very nice high res ones. If you guys remember, I had a source tell me about the day that Marion Ravenwood was back, and right here in the pictures you could see he's wearing his wedding ring.
Let's say he gives her the promise ring. He's like, I know he's young and all, but one day you're gonna be big and strong. Gonna make a mutt.
Yeah. And
making mutts. Making mutts. Making mutts. That's the name of the movie. I mean, that's how they made a mutt. Oh man,
there was that rumor that the movie was called Dial of Destiny, as we talked about before. She does have fucking big ass dial in her hand.
That's why I told you she's got a big old dial.
You know, she's dilated. Everybody run.
We're like, that looks like a thing R2 sticks his, you know.
Yeah, R2D2 he jacks it in there. The image shows Helena seemingly divides her time between an office filled with dusty shelves, holding precious artifacts, and dangerous field trips with Ford's Indiana. I don't know if it's really saying that either, because it kind of went a different path. It was saying that she was sort of sounds more like she's like Indiana Jones in Temple of Doom, that she's shady. Meanwhile, the Sandman star Boyd Holbrook can be seen riding a motorcycle through a parade as baddie Vollers, Mads Mikkelsen henchman Klaber. So yeah, and that's the thing, is the article plays up Voller. You don't know if he's exactly evil or not. It says that he wants to right the wrongs of the past, which when you're used to be a Nazi makes it seem like maybe he wants to be good, but it sounds like maybe he wants the resurrection of the Nazis and that kind of stuff. So, and then when he has a henchman named Klaber, makes me think probably evil. And then Shawnette Renee Wilson leans into the groovy, vibrant fashion at times as a possibly undercover government agent Mason. And then here she is, right, looking cool. And like she's ready. And the article goes into the actual article goes into a lot about how Indiana Jones is going to be like a fish out of water in the story, where the world's changed and the times have changed and he doesn't get it. Like,
I don't like the Beatles.
Yeah,
I don't like them.
You need a haircut, that kind of stuff. And then
They fart right on you.
Yeah. People were asking me about that. We're getting Mando stuff on Thursday. Are we? And then yeah, in it,
bruv.
I don't know, bro. I was about to because it's like the only word I know, bruv. But so what I heard was that we were going to get the Mando trailer on Christmas Day. Did things change with the Disney upheaval? I don't know.
Iger said, "Drop it now."
Well, here's the whole thing. There's more rumors from people saying that we're going to get the Indiana Jones trailer this week, but no one from my side of things has told me in a credible fashion that that's the case. It's everyone just going like, big stuff this week. Disney's gonna do big stuff, and it's like, yeah, they're going to a fucking convention. You're not like breaking news by saying Disney's gonna go to an event and make announcements, and then like you're just literally just saying what they've already said and trying to like latch onto it. If you're gonna say something, fucking say it and own it. It's what I say. If you know the trailer's coming, say the trailer's coming. That way I could be like, Star Wars Meg says Mando trailer, whatever. Like no one is doing that. And so
I heard something big is happening.
Something big from Disney,
soon.
Rob.
Yeah, before the end of the decade, it's gonna happen.
It's like, yeah, of course something big is going to happen. I mean, they're gonna go and they're going to go to a convention in Brazil and they're going to show shit. Now, the whole thing is in my opinion, if they were to release the Indiana Jones trailer at that convention and show it to them, and Mandalorian 3's trailer at that convention and put them both on the internet, it would be self-cannibalizing.
Or what if Disney goes to Brazil and just gives us the head of Bolsonaro?
Right.
Like they were like, we decided to pull a coup. Bob Iger always wanted to do that. And now that he's CEO again, we were able to just, eliminate the troublesomes, Yeah.
So like
it's just,
but make bets the trailer will be just for those in attendance. And that's kind of my take too, is that they will show. My take is they're going to show, my hope and my estimation is they show Indy, then they release that to the public. Then they show the Mando 3 trailer, they don't release it to the public, and then they release it on Christmas Day.
I hope they don't ever release a trailer at all and they just drop the movie, Jason.
What?
I mean? They just drop the movie. No trailers.
That sounds crazy, man.
When is Indy 5 coming? I don't even know.
July.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do them. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, and do you think, Nick, do you think if they dropped both trailers at the same time, it would be self-cannibalizing?
Not the Mando one, because it's so close anyway, isn't it, really? So, and that first one's, that teaser's already leaked, isn't it? So,
Yeah,
Very
it would
limited, wasn't it?
it's like a new one. From what I've heard, the new trailer reveals Christopher Lloyd's character
Oh,
in it.
okay.
That's sort of like the focus. It's kind of like it's a little bit more
Doc Beskar.
story based, you know, in
Mm.
that way. So
Doesn't seem that big a deal to me, personally. Yeah, just drop it.
well,
It's gonna leak anyway the day
he's
after,
a
innit? So
oh, it'll probably leak from that event. I would
yeah,
imagine. Yeah.
we'll see it one way or another.
Yeah, June 30th when it comes out now. They kept changing the fucking day. But yeah, June 30th.
You can wait, countdown to the complaints if it doesn't. They're hiding it because they're afraid it didn't track well. It didn't test well with audiences. You know that bullshit. You'll hear it.
Well, it's because they were cucking Indiana Jones, and it's a bait and switch, is what you have to understand. It's really
Indiana Jones
Brody.
and the cuck of doom. You know,
it's really called Helena Brody and the Dial Bath of Destiny. It's all about a woman.
The rise of the cuck.
The bath bomb. But yeah, those people will
Operation Paper Cuck.
Oh no!
Come on, look! I get there slowly. I get there, folks.
You did it. You did.
I'm climbing that ledge like Andor and his buddy, right, Melcher? Just one bloody hand at a time. I'll get there. It's great. Operation Paper Cuck. So stupid.
It is. Okay, then we have another little indie article here that is also fodder for the which is put behind the fucking paywall, so is what it is again, but it's a quote taken
brought
out
all
of
these
context.
Nazis
Wow,
over
look
to
at
fuck
that.
my wife and I had to wash them. Like, I mean, like that's it's just Indy's worst nightmare, you know? Is
Yeah.
that
Like
boning all
Harrison
these
Ford
hot
found Indiana
Nazis?
Jones 5 unnecessary but is happy with outcome. It's like let's not.
My wife feels the same way about sex, you know? Like,
Yeah.
Well, you know,
It's not really needed with
Who
you,
cares?
but sometimes it works.
I mean, it checks out nice, you know? Like,
Yeah,
you
but
give
the
just
actual
2 thumbs
quote
up.
from Ford is, I didn't feel it was necessary to do another one. I just thought it would be nice to see
Spend
one
my
where
money.
Indiana Jones was at the end of his journey. If a script came along and I felt gave me a way to, and he would reprise the role if a script came along that I felt gave me a way to extend the character. And then he goes on to say, it's full of adventure, full of laughs, full of real emotion, and it's complex and it's sneaky. The shooting of it was tough, long, and arduous, and I'm very happy with the film that we have. So
He's not cared about a film he's done in the last 20 years, has he?
what's that?
Harrison Ford, he's not cared about any film he's done in the last 20 years, has he? So why is he like bothered by this?
No, you know what? This one was weird. I don't know if it's just the power of acting, but at D23, he was he was like emotional about it. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say that that story about him being ambivalent and grumpy and shit like that, it's probably somewhat true. But I also think he might play it up in order to get more money. It might be a part of, like, you know what I mean? It might be a part of his persona. And he was acting like he was going to retire. John Williams came out and said, Ford's retiring with me. We're retire buddies. So I went, and then he's in the fucking Marvel films now. So
the most baller thing Disney could have done if he didn't want to come back was just to cast Tom Selleck, you know, and be like, fuck it, you know? Like, seriously. Yeah. Release the Selleck.
Isn't Selleck a little like on the weird side of things now? Isn't he a little
it's right where we need Indy, on the weird side.
Is it no, but no, I mean like a little bit like Mike Lindell, like the pillow guy. Isn't he kind of like a step away from the pillow guy? Or am I wrong there? I hope I'm wrong.
I've not heard of that, but hey, why not? Like, fuck it, you know.
I do know he's always trying to sell old. He's trying to get people to take those loans against their homes and shit, like those like really like predatory ads, you know, against the elderly.
Yeah,
he does.
Hey man, capitalism. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's terrible.
How you gonna make money if you
Um,
can't steal it from the elderly?
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with stealing money. That's like pretty cool. Like, but don't steal it from the old people. Steal it from like
Well,
fucking Bezos or Twitter
no,
guy. Steal it from
no.
somebody who has it. So that's all I'm
Well, people
saying.
got loads of money.
You know. Star Wars makes it. Didn't he injure himself in Hackney during filming? Yeah, he did.
Hackney Wick or Hackney Downs, Meg? Which one? She'll know the answer to that. She'll know what I'm talking about.
Hackney Downs, just because he's downs with it. Tyrant says, I'd argue Harrison Ford hasn't cared about most of the movies he has done in the last 25 years. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't feel like he showed up to Force Awakens and phoned it in. I think he legitimately was working. He wasn't just like, I don't think he was just like cashing the checks necessarily, but also he did a lot of crap though too. I think that there's a difference between being on a hot streak, picking good scripts, having good roles, and making good films, and then like not caring. I'm not sure. I think for him, it falls apart when the action hero changes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
My hope is that Rian Johansson gets him for Knives Out 3. He'd be getting a Knives Out movie, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do magic and shit, and he like kills, Blanc and Blah, whatever his name is, Blanc Blah, like that guy.
I want to get him. I want to get him in a room with Chris Angel to see how hard he freaks out. But yeah. Lobo says Selleck promotes reverse mortgages. Don't.
Yeah, we call him Tom Sellout.
Tom Sellout. Max says,
"Yeah, get my mustache like Tom Selleck. He needs to come in a little bit more."
Yeah. You're like right in between Tom Selleck and maybe like one of the Beatles in the Sgt. Pepper's era.
No,
right now
he's in between Tom Selleck and that picture of The Rock with the fanny pack, dude.
That's
the wrong neck.
Yeah, you can't unsee it, huh? Yeah,
I'll take it. Absolutely, all day.
Yeah, here you go, buddy.
Thank you very much. 11 p.m. Flipping heck.
Hackney Downs is dodge after 11 p.m. says me Minge.
Try 7 p.m. Flipping heck.
Mig walks around with
here he is.
Squirrels.
Here he is. Look at this.
Ben says instead of stealing from old people, he can just make a copy page. Yeah, that's true. Dude, he injured himself while filming the train sequence, not while in Hackney. Is that right? Okay. Hey, don't hit me, dude. Don't hit me, dude. That's just like your opinion, dude.
Moral of the story is don't go to Hackney.
Yeah, every filming for me on Star Wars and Indiana Jones movies, it's always like sort of abstract because it's just like these names and some set pictures. And until like I like know people who like are like in those areas, like Black Park is more of a real place to me than London itself, which is because I know people that are in the area that are, you know what I mean, that are there, jog there and everything. It's a completely like different like fucking thing. It's weird how geography is imagined as opposed to
I know where Little Marlow is, but after Bez's been saying it for so long, flipping it, I feel like I never need to go to Little Marlow.
I think Little Marlow is just his cousin. His cousin Little Marlow. Hey, I'm Little Marlow. Yeah, I want some. Call me Scoops. I'm Little Marlow.
I don't know if you're aware of this, but Uncle Harlow's first name is Marlow.
Marlow.
Yeah. Harlow. Yeah.
The Harlow Globetrotters.
They call me Marlow Harlow.
There is a town called Harlow where I'm from, so yeah, maybe he lives there.
Mr. Jones, how about dialed it in? Huh? How about he's been dialing it in? Maybe
with Destiny.
The delay in filming was so long, nearly 3 months, because Ford was unable to throw punches due to the whip stuff, etc. That's what I heard. By September, he was better. Filming continued. Yeah, I remember like the official story was like he was practicing for a stunt, like it did either a punch or a whip some kind of movement with his arm, and oops, not good, or something like that. But Tom Selleck was Monica's boyfriend for a while in Friends. That's the role I first saw him in, says Star Wars Meg.
What? Not 3 Men and a Baby?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah, and then he had to exit the show because he beat the shit out of Monica in a very special episode of Friends. Sorry, I'm not a Friends fan. Richie says Harrison showed up for Blade Runner 2049. He was acting in that. All right, yeah, Richie, you said it. Blade Runner 2049. He was acting.
Oh, he cares when he wants to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to know if they ate the dog, because it really freaks me. So one thing about that
yeah.
movie, like, did they eat that fucking dog? Otherwise, it's really bad editing, because the way they edited it made it look like they're eating that dog, and I don't like.
Wait, in what? In Blade Runner
2049, he has that dog, and then when those dudes find him in the desert area, they capture them. They're looking at the dog, and then they cut to them outside, and they're all eating barbecue. And you're like, what are they barbecuing, buddy?
Yeah.
What are they all barbecuing?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
And I've looked it up, and people just can't get that confirmed one way or another. They didn't do that, but
I love
Poor
that's
choice
what you
of
think about in that film.
yeah, I don't want to see them eating dogs. Yes, yeah, I worry about it.
I don't know. I mean, it's the future. There might be a robot dog with bioflesh over it. I don't know. Tyrant says TFA is definitely the exception. I was really happy with his performance. I mean,
if it's a droid, man, I don't want them eating BMO. You know,
True.
You know,
Mr. Jones says that's an Empire mustache.
Thank you, sir.
I I think it's, I don't know, man. I'm gonna give it a Biggs. I think it's a Biggs. I think you kind of got a big stash going right now. Biggs
Yeah?
Darklighter. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a fascist mustache.
I trimmed it a little bit recently.
Fascist mustache is also our new band.
Cover me, Porkins.
By the way, I got photos of Porkins ejecting of that they filmed an
Just stop
ejection
right there.
mask. Yeah, I got photos of an ejection mask coming down for him to put on his face.
I want to see it.
Yeah,
I want to see it.
I know. I don't know if I'm
I wanna
allowed to
see
like
it.
show it. I'm gonna
Oh,
ask.
you gotta.
I'll show
Slip me
you.
that in the DMs.
I will.
Can't
Well,
wait.
yeah. So
Can't
so I'm not saying that they have like a successful shot of him ejecting. Like, I'm not saying they did the effects or any of that shit happen, but it would be pretty funny to see a little fat guy just fucking ejecting out of the shit, you know, like with those old effects.
I heard it was premature.
Premature ejection.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Tyron says, "Who are we kidding?" Nick is one big dumb hat away from starring in Starship Troopers 3. Whoa. Man, I think people are jealous of your mustache, honestly, at this point. I think Tyrant's a little bit jealous of it.
Yeah, sure.
I think we all are a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I'm fine with Starship Troopers. I'll
Yeah,
definitely
people don't know his parents used to call him Tyrunt because the dude's so short. He's just
Oh,
got a
little-
chip on his shoulder. He's got a
Little
chip on-
Ty.
Tyrunt.
He used to play basketball out with Lil Marlowe. Dude says eating the dog, hologram dog, 24/9 is pretty good at that. I honestly haven't seen it. I still need to watch it. I still
Good
haven't
3D.
seen in Blade Runner.
I haven't.
I tried to watch that rip, and when I was trying to stream, I was trying to send it from my computer to my TV with AirPlay, and then like when I would like put the TV into like 3D mode, it didn't work. I don't know what to do. Not sure how to get it to my television in a way that will work. But
Why don't you
I
just hook a PC up to your TV, like, and just play the file?
Well, I mean, I have a Mac, but it would be the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's an HDMI. Just plug the
But
HDMI.
I was airplaying from VLC to my TV, but it didn't work.
You may want to try Skybox. That's the app I use.
Skybox.
Yeah, I don't know about VLC.
Wasn't that Princess Leia's the nickname for Princess Leia? Once I knew she was a Skywalker. Anyways, Junior Jingle says Tom Selleck was called out on TV by Rosie O'Donnell for being a right-wing nut, which he is. Oh, okay.
With that mustache, yeah.
So make him the evil Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones has to go against his greatest foe.
He can be
himself.
Indiana Smith.
Indiana Smith.
All right, the original. Yeah.
Montana Smith.
Yeah, people don't know, man. That the Indiana Smith script predates Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this whole concept of George is, it's older than Star Wars. So
it ain't young, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But
Indiana
all right.
Smith. Eesh.
Indiana Smith.
I just want to say, when him and Steven Spielberg were sitting on the beach making sandcastles, I just want, he goes, well, Steven, it's Indiana Smith, and Steven goes, Smith.
Smith.
Knocks over his sandcastle. Shit's not being called Smith. It's ridiculous.
And then he's like, Jones, that's better. It's like, do you think that, we take Indiana Jones for granted, right? He's always been called that. So anything else is like, what were they thinking? But at the time of creation, was changing it from Smith to Jones, was it just creative power play? Like somebody just like, well, I got a better idea because they just like their idea is better. Like that's a weird one.
It's like when I suggest lyrics to you and you ignore me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
I do. Yeah.
I do. And then it's Indiana Smith, and I'm like, told you that shit would fail.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't come out. Yeah. Imagine if the whole thing had tanked because it was called Smith.
It was called Smith. People
and then
hate
pretentious '80s fuckers were like, "It's actually supposed to be called Indiana Smythe." I'm like, oh no, it's Smith. Shut up.
Tyrant says, "Love it when Jason misreads my chat and then Rob jokes on me." Super Trooper stash.
Oh, I see what he means now. I just googled it. Yeah, okay.
Super Troopers.
Oh, I knew what he was
Trooper.
talking about. I just like to joke on him.
I misread it as Starship Troopers. Okay, fair enough.
No, I knew him, Mother of God. I
explained.
was. I just joke on you because that's what else I got to do around here.
I can barely read, you guys. To be honest with you, like I barely went to school. That shit was boring. As the truth says, I finally sat down and watched a 3D film on my Quest 2. It was an incredible masterpiece. The film was Transformers 5. Hey, if you had a good time, that's all that matters. That's what I say. I mean, you absolutely have zero taste and you have shit ideas about film, but I'm glad that you had fun.
Don't bay shame me. Don't bay shame me. Don't bay shame me.
Hey, everybody. We need to start a whisper campaign because I hear Jason is anti-Bay.
What if Michael Bay changed his last name to Woke? Just pissed off every fucking...
Michael E. Tennant says, did anyone see Mark Hamill in the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special? And now Nathan Hamill came out and said that wasn't his dad, didn't he? I believe Nathan Hamill said
Did
it
you watch the
wasn't his
Christmas
dad.
special, Jason?
I did. I
liked
it.
Did you like the song?
Yeah, the song was very, very good. The fact that they kept it going at that level for that amount of time was a feat. And they did a good job with the song. They also did a good job of deconstructing 80s Christmas specials and some 70s, but mostly 80s Christmas specials, and bringing what worked from them and putting it into a modern Christmas special. So yeah, I was happy with it. I watched it once. I had fun. I'll probably never watch it again. But that's not a dig on it. It just was what it was. And a good time. The question that me and Bespin had is Groot practical now? Is that Groot in a suit?
In some shots, maybe, but not the whole thing. No.
It
might just be the way that lighting. The lighting's anytime you light things from all angles, it will look fake. Like I was kind of joking about, because I know like Max was saying that ending shot of Andor looks CGE.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, man, there are times when I follow the NASA Twitter channel, and they'll be posting shit from space. I'm like, and I'll reply, I legit thought this was from an anime. Like it's just a photo of something out in space because of the way shit's lit in space that it just can look. It has it all over lighting. It can look real fake.
That's because NASA's photoshopping out the UAPs, brother.
Yeah, I did feel like the one in the background looked like a man in a suit or a Groot in a suit or whatever. But the stuff where he's up close talking isn't. I don't know if they do two for that budget. I think they would just do one. But
Wait, what is this?
Star Destroyer. It has an exposed point. Could be a weakness.
Oh, it's Matt Berry.
But I've never seen a hole that I could resist entering. Accelerate
Yeah.
to attack speed. And
Matt Berry.
raise the
My
shields.
that's why I want to play Dash
Railway
Rendar.
piloting 101. Treat your X-Wing like you treat your woman. What? No, none of that soppy shite. I mean, get in her 5 times a day and take her to Yavin and back. If
I'm
you
telling
match
you.
my drift.
That should be Dash
No,
Rendar. That
he's
should be Dash
incredible.
Rendar.
Matt
Yeah.
Berry's amazing, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, because no, but I mean, truly, I know you're semi joking, semi serious, but I think you're right. I think like if they were to ever reinvigorate Dash Rendar and bring him in, you can't just have him be Han Solo clone. You got to make him. You got to make him the absurdist version of the guy, or something like that, right? That's kind of where you're.
of Star Wars. Everything needs
to
be like Andor.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, no, son, man, I want to see him fuck a Muppet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's sleeping with Sice Noodles and shit. You know,
Right.
and Max Greedo or Max Rebo. You know, like he's got had a 3-way with a Muppet. Ha! You know, like yeah, I like it. I like him. I mean, he did the voice for that droid, but he could still be real. You know.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it should definitely be real.
Yeah,
Andy
if
Serkis has
you-
proven you can come back as a person.
I think the policy, I'm not joking. I think the policy is if your face is shown on screen, you can't be anybody else. But if your face isn't shown on screen, you're
Yeah,
good
but I
to
mean,
go.
Mark Hamill's a droid or two. You know.
Yeah.
so.
By the way,
Was that the thing about Tim real? Then I think I saw it on Twitter. Obviously, it can't have been, but someone said Tim was in R.I.P. Tim, by the way. But that Tim was in The Force Awakens. Was a
oh
pilot.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
But
maybe the policy is
fair.
shit. Maybe it. I'm gonna guess that okay. Here's my take then. If that's true, the policy is there and it matters and it's real. But if Tony Gilroy wants to cast you, he's gonna cast you. Probably at the end
Pretty
of the day.
much.
That's
Probably
how I
like-
feel about most Star Wars canon, Jason.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, it's all real until they just rewrite it,
Yeah.
and they're like, nope.
But it's not even like the way that you're putting it is rewriting it, and like what he did with his backstory, he made it work though, right? So it can be okay.
Sure,
It
it's
can
still a
be-
rewrite.
It
I
can,
didn't
yeah,
say it's a bad thing.
yeah,
but-
yeah. It can be a retcon, but people aren't asking the real questions like K2SO in those articles in all of these new interviews. Like, how are you going to deal with the comic book? Are you going to do what you did to Cassian's backstory with that one? Are you just going to pretend that never happened? I honestly think if I were them, probably would be better to let that out sooner than later, because if they sit on it, one of the grifters, one of the oh guys, it's a bait and switch guys, they're going to end up changing it they're going to end up making that into a thing. And if you just get ahead of it, you could actually whip it good. And I agree, Jones is a great last name. I do agree. Jake says, has anything been going around about who's writing the movie that will supposedly that film next year for Star Wars? Well, see, Jake, the thing is that Taika Waititi and Christy Wilson Cairns is writing a Star Wars film that is going to be turned in December. That film will then be approved or denied. If that film is approved, then I believe somewhere between April to June, construction on sets will begin, and then filming will go after that. So that's what I think is the tentative plan. People in the industry are all like being like, oh, Taika ain't gonna do it, and acting like that's an impossibility and that it's a crazy idea to even think he will. But I also think that those people are oftentimes jealous, petty. They're seeing somebody having 3-ways with hot chicks, fucking partying it up and having a very prolific moment. And so I don't know what to make of it. I don't know if those sideways glances are petty jealousy, or if there is some inside track that he just ain't fucking working on the movie. And I kind of have a hard time imagining that being the case. I've heard from people in the industry that Taika relies on his co-writers very heavily. And when people analyze it on youtube.com, they oftentimes go on and make it sound like Taika is the sole writer. Like he's out there with this yellow George Lucas notepad writing it and trying to do all of the stuff. It's that there's like, I am not a writer in Hollywood, obviously, so I don't want to act like I know this stuff too much, but I've oftentimes heard that there is usually a relationship between two writers when two people are writing, and whether it's SNL or it's a film, and there's the person who walks around the room spouting shit and the person at the keyboard. And it's completely two different jobs, two different roles, and they're both credited the same. But the person at the keyboard is the person really doing the work, really doing the difficult stuff. That's probably who Tony Gilroy was, and who we're seeing somebody that's like Tony Gilroy bringing in his team of rock stars and making Andor really good. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I don't know what's going to happen there. And then the rumor is that Lindelof and his partner, I can't remember the partner's name because I wasn't familiar with their work.
Tits McGee.
Tits McGee?
Yeah.
Tits McGee are writing.
It's a pen name, but yeah.
Yeah, are writing a new Star Wars series. Supposedly the plan there is that they don't want that to be the next Star Wars thing. I
lied, Jason. It's not Tits McGee. It's okay. Lindelof.
Lindelof and Lindelof. You fucking asshole. That's so fucking stupid. You're such a moron. I love you.
I know I'm not bringing much to this conversation today, but
it's so dumb. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. But I am going to use that in a future thing when the next rumor comes out that Lindelof's movie's canceled. It'll be like Lindelof.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the rumor is that yet their film may be next if that one doesn't happen, and the reason that they wouldn't want it to be next is that they want to give them time to develop what that film will be and what the series can be. They may be ready to go on it, but if they have more time, they could plan out what the sequel and where it will go from there, and we won't have as much ambiguity moving forward. Now, that's what they say. I think Star Wars analysts are probably overstating how much time they've actually had to prepare for this. That Star Wars took a fucking hiatus, and it wasn't like they just checked out and stopped working there. There may have been some toil and some treading water for a time. I feel that they're probably way further ahead than we know. And another thing to also realize is that whenever Bespin Bulletin hears something, or I hear something, or the trades hear something, it's already happened. We oftentimes will hear what's going to happen, but that's always like, who knows if it's actually going to actually occur. Things change, all that kind of stuff. 99% of the time, what you hear is what has already happened. When something gets out and gets to you at that point, it could be days, it could be months, it could be almost a year sometimes. That's how old that information is sometimes. So
what do you think about, like, for a good year and a half or so, we were hearing about how they were shooting Andor season 1 and 2 at the same time. You think people were just uncertain about the scale of what they were doing? Because like they built that big ass city, plus they built a lot of stuff, so it's like, do you think they just underestimated the scale of it?
Well, they built a whole set called Titty City that they never used, and that's probably a big part of it. It was outside. It was in Big Marlow.
Yeah.
I think it was because things kept fluctuating between 5, 3, and 2 seasons. There was all of that like upheaval going on, and then I think when we heard that it was 12 episodes. And it was like, that's a pretty large number for one of these shows. Everything that we had up to that point had been max of 8 episodes. So I think when we heard 12, we started to think maybe 8 episodes was the season, and then they were filming into season 2. Excuse me. So that might be why, but that's just a guess still at the same time. I mean, it really could be any of that stuff, and it could also just be that it was complete bullshit too. I mean, I wouldn't put that past it as well. But all right, well, I think we did it, guys. I think we've hit all of the news and exhausted it all. I hope I didn't miss any more comments from Pevy because I was looking for them.
Nah, he didn't. Don't worry. I got them. I got them all personally instead.
Yeah, Pevy, come on, Pevy. You need to really need to lay into him harder. And Pevy, if you ever want to come hang out, open invite, obviously.
No one wants that.
But if you didn't hear this live, I take it back. And also, your Indiana Jones take his shit, and I just want you to know before we die, I want you to know. And then Across the Stars starts playing.
He is very protective over National Treasure.
Yeah,
that is his baby.
It's the only thing I watch on 4th of July.
You don't watch Born on the 4th of July?
No, I watch National Treasure. Yeah. You know, that's one of the few movies that actually play better if you just listen to it while you're doing something. Because they say everything they're doing. So if you hear them say it, you I know what's going on now. Like
that's what I did with Andor. Mainly because I was at work, but you know.
Yeah. Poor Andor. Never gets the attention he deserves. But all right, everyone. Hey, I just remembered too, I need to go pick up my kids from school. It's not even my day, but I'm doing it. No, they're not out for a little while, but I do. It turns out you gotta put pants on. They don't. The kids don't like it when you show up in shorts and slippers. They think, God, my dad's embarrassing. But we'll be
dude robe,
right? Yeah. Remember the other day when I got your joke 5 days later? That was my dude moment. That was my dude moment. He said he didn't like that. What was that? What was that? The Eagles?
Yeah.
I was
you
like
finally
5
got
days
it.
later. I was like,
Friday
wait
later.
a minute. I know what he was saying. I almost that was almost the brick wall, but behind Nick today. You know, I would have been driving my car. Like, oh, the brick wall! Now I get it.
That timing, perfect.
Oh shit! All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for stopping by, Nick. You're always welcome to come and hang out with us. We always like having you around. And me and Rob will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking about Indiana Jones, Willow, Star Wars, your mama's big old bald head, all that shit. And make sure you if you're like the show, it's a podcast now as well, so you can get it on Spotify, Apple, whatever the fuck you want. It's on all that shit. So go ahead and subscribe to that if you want to listen to the show, and that's a better way than watching the show. Also, Spotify has the video too, so if Spotify is your preference, it's there. And if you want to support the show, you can become a Patreon supporter if you're a podcast person. But if you want to participate in the show, becoming a channel member on YouTube is the best way, because then I see your chats as the show goes on, and that's helpful. But we'll be back tomorrow. And we also, by the way, we had a Bob Iger segment today, and I didn't do it, so I'm going to do it.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.
Hey!